the colony of British, we were fighting for the freedom. There were people like Siddi Lebbe and many other national heroes.
That's a lot, actually. So thank you for the second part, and then we are going to move to the third part. Right. So the third part will be about. Okay. So we have come to the third part. So we are going to be discussing about the Muslim identity in Sri Lanka. Basically, their contribution, their struggles, all those things. So you have actually covered a little bit during the second part just now. But maybe you can, there are some part you wanted to highlight more, maybe especially about the identity as Muslim, or maybe it clashes with the identity as a Sri Lankan. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
So let me start with the contribution of Muslims for Sri Lanka. If Arab traders hadn't come to Sri Lanka, we wouldn't have known Sri Lanka right now, because Sri Lanka was inside the country. It was so prosperous, so precious. They had so many valuable things. It was known only among the country, inside the country, until Arab traders came and started to showcase all the beauty and everything to the world. Then only Sri Lanka became world famous. It's one thing about Sri Lanka. After Muslims started to settle in Sri Lanka, they were so trustworthy people in the country in terms of their business dealings and other day-to-day activities, to the extent that even the king of the country trusted them so much. So they were the chef or the cookers in the kitchen. In the kitchen, it should be so much. We have to be so careful that if an enemy want to kill the king, it's so simple to put a poison in the food. So they kept Muslims as their guardians, even in the kitchen. Also, their personal assistants. So they were so closely connected with the kingdom and with the rulers, and they were contributing in a higher level, in a higher positions. And there were talented doctors who were serving the royal family. And we had connections with the Khilafah. To be friends with the Khilafah, one of the kings had given some golds and pearls. When we come to the occupation of British and Portuguese and Dutch, we were always loyal to the government. We were always loyal to the kingdom. In the battle against Portuguese, we were fighting against Portuguese with the locals, with the kingdom, in the army. After that, under the colony of British, we were fighting for the freedom. There were people like Siddi Lebbe and many other national heroes who contributed to the Sri Lankan government in terms of politics. British were ready to give the freedom, but we were not united. A Muslim leader came up and said, okay, just silence. Right now, the main thing is to get the freedom. So that was kind of a historical thing, and it's repeated in our history books and textbook and all. This is really important to up to now. We have never ever unloyal to the country. We were always loyal. On the other hand, your second question is about identity. So we have an identity crisis, to be honest. Who are we right now? Identity means, is it about are you talking about
how do you identify yourself?
Is it based on our religion? Should it be based on our religion, or should it be based on our culture, or what identity are we talking about, or the country basis? So when I came to Thailand and when I was interacting with my students, I see they had their own culture, their own language, something to be proud about themselves and their country. When we had international festivals and we had show our own cultural dress, we didn't have a proper cultural dress. That was so
there's
so
no like national dress. There's no national dress for Sri Lanka?
Yeah,
No.
national dress. For example, Malays, they had their baju kurung and baju Melayu. We do not have such thing because we claim that we are multicultural society. Sri Lanka is a multicultural society. Yeah, it's true. But when we identify Muslims, there is a small identity crisis. On the Independence Day, we wear our national dress. Buddhists wear their own national dress. Hindus their own
their own traditional dress, right?
Yeah.
Not national.
Even though we say multicultural and we are united, I don't see there is a unity. I think I have shared enough.
Are you sure? For the education system, is it compulsory to learn Tamil or other languages, or how was it?
In Sri Lanka, like you are enrolled to a school, a government school. We have two schools: Tamil medium schools and Sinhala medium schools.
Oh.
In Tamil medium schools, everything is taught in Tamil. So Tamil medium school, everything is taught in Tamil. There is one subject for Sinhala. In Sinhala medium school, everything is taught in Sinhala. There is a small subject for Tamil.
Sorry, how about English? Is English being taught as the second language? Because your English is very good, obviously. So
yeah, because as we are under the occupation of British,
we were colonized. Yep.
Yeah, so English became part of our life.
So same like Malaysia and India, right?
Yeah. But if you see, the education system will not make you a good English speaker unless you are exposed to that environment and all.
What language do you use at home? Is it Tamil?
I speak Tamil. Because my family speaks Tamil, so I speak Tamil. But I went to a Sinhalese school.
So that is the end for part 3.